right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard, Vernon, and Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn transfer portal action. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger War Eagle. So Auburn has actually been, at least on the front end, somewhat of a beneficiary of the transfer portal, and have scored on a few transfers. The only one that I can think of that Auburn probably would have wanted to have, but it's kind of a long shot, Tyke Smith from West Virginia. But now there's another wide receiver who's been around for quite some time, a 5-star wide receiver from the state of Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, actually. Initially, out of high school, committed to California, the California Bears, who ironically Auburn, I think, will be playing next year. Committed to the California Bears. And the crazy thing about this is when I was looking up his stats and all, Demetris Robertson, you see him as number 16 for the Georgia Bulldogs. Sorry about that, guys, because Georgia is absolutely not the Tigers. They are the Bulldogs. But you see him in year one as a 5-star recruit out of Savannah, Georgia. Took his show cross country to California. Honestly, don't know why he wanted to come back to Georgia. I just didn't have time or the energy or the wherewithal or even cared enough to do that research. But year one at the California Bears, he was actually pretty good. Had about 700 yards. But then the following year, I don't know if there was a coaching change or there was a change in philosophy to where they were like, okay, he's not going to be as big of a part of our program. He was very minimal the next year. And with the arrival to Georgia, kind of sort of minimal there. His best year, 2020, pandemic year, at 300 and some yards. So the question on the floor with this whole transfer portal thing happening is, should the Auburn Tigers, brand new coach Brian Harsin, should they pursue Demetris Robertson? Now, when I kind of surveyed the stats, I was like, you know what? Nah. You know, this is one of those situations where, nah, you want to kind of keep your hands off of this. But then I dug a little bit more, kind of saw some footage highlight-wise. I'm like, hey, this might be an okay game. I'm going to tell you who this guy reminds me of. He reminds me of a stockier version of Eli Stove. He's a utility guy. Jet sweep, kind of keep the defenses off balance. I think Auburn, assuming that they're pursuing this guy, maybe, I don't think this would be a bad game. And it would actually, from an experience standpoint, give Auburn some leverage. And that's what this transfer portal does. It just gives you some experimental leverage. I think this could be okay. Now, I don't know if Auburn's pursuing Demetris Robertson, but I think it makes sense. Definitely in the slot, because that's where he did a lot of his damage at both California and at times at Georgia. But then we got to look at Georgia. He was actually in the shadows of a lot of good wide receivers, including George Pickens at Georgia. But do I think this could be a okay look for the Tigers? Yeah, for sure. For sure. If anything, when we look at the special teams, for example, get Tank Bigsby off the kickoff team. Because Tank Bigsby is going to have a load as it is. And, I mean, Auburn is kind of the kings of doing this. But you got your star running back on the return team. Obviously, the easiest way to get on the injured reserve list. Demetris Robertson, put him back there. Also, he can help out this Brian Harsin offense to a certain degree. Now, the disclaimer again, I don't know if Auburn is even pursuing him, but the more I look at it, Eli Stove reincarnated, it actually makes sense. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.